But first, we have breaking news coming in from Britain, and the Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has fired the Conservative Party chairman from the government. The move comes after an independent investigation into Nadhim Zahawi's tax affairs found a serious breach of the Ministerial Code. Sunak ordered the probe last week after facing pressure over the issue. We'll get more on this from Nadhim Baba. He's joining us from London. So what exactly do we know about how and why this happened?
Well, Doreen, we know that it's happened unusually quickly, if you like, after an investigation ordered just a few days ago by Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, asking Sir Laurie Magnus, his ethics advisor, to look into reports of a dispute between the Tory party chair Nadhim Zahawi and Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs. Reports that Mr. Zahawi had paid a penalty, which was part of a reported $6 million settlement. Just about a week and a half ago, the Prime Minister was in Parliament saying that Mr. Zahawi had dealt with the matter in full. And then at Prime Minister's questions this week, it was a different story. Hints that, in fact, Mr. Zahawi had known when he was appointed Chancellor last year to Liz Truss's government and then to a subsequent government, that he knew that there was a dispute with the tax authorities. Now, the letter to Mr. Zahawi on Sunday from the Prime Minister says, "When I became Prime Minister last year, I pledged that the government I led would have integrity, professionalism and accountability at every level." And although he pays tribute to Mr. Zahawi's role as Vaccines Minister, he basically says, "Look, I have no alternative but to sack you. Between the lines, you didn't tell me everything that you knew before I told the world that there was nothing to see here." Now, specifically, the investigation, and there's a four-page document dated Sunday, it says that Mr. Zahawi failed to declare that HMRC, the tax authorities, were investigating his taxes as a conflict of interest when he became Chancellor, and he also failed to declare that he'd paid a penalty fine when he was appointed to his position last year. Now, even before today, the Labour opposition and some ex-Tory ministers have said that Rishi Sunak should have got rid of Mr. Zahawi in the previous days because it was clear that there had been an investigation and that he hadn't declared that.
Right. So, Nadhim, let me ask you this then. What does this exactly mean for Sunak and for the government going forward?
Yeah, I think you're asking about the implications there. Well, obviously, Mr. Sunak has talked about an ethical government. Things are not looking great because there's not only that, there's the other growing controversy over what happened with Boris Johnson, the previous Prime Minister, and the now chair of the BBC, the British Broadcasting Corporation, Richard Sharp. There's a new memo which is printed in today's press, which reportedly says, and it's from the Cabinet Secretary to Boris Johnson, saying, given the imminent announcement of Richard Sharp as new BBC chair, it's important that you no longer ask his advice about your personal financial matters. That was just a couple of weeks before Richard Sharp was appointed BBC chair by Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Boris Johnson did get a loan facility of around $1 million. Both Johnson and Sharp say nothing untoward happened, but at the moment there are growing worries for Rishi Sunak to deal with, just like previous administrations got distracted by this kind of problem.
Thank you so much, Nadhim Baba, for that reporting from London.